My name is Christian Jones. I've got my colleague Noah Jenks here with me today. Noah, say hello.
Great to see everybody.
Yeah, great to be with you guys. And today is a special seminar that, most of the time when we do these webinars, we try and be kind of agnostic to the time of year it is because we're trying to re-record it or use it as a distribution in the long run. And we're not going to do that today. This is specifically a seminar and a presentation that's meant to be reflective on the busy season we just left. Now, again, some of you are not in the States. Again, welcome from South Africa, welcome from Canada. You have different busy seasons than us, right? There's some overlap, especially between Canada and the States. Things fall in roughly a similar time frame. But if you're in South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, if you're in Europe, this is appropriate still. Because what I wanted to do with this presentation is I wanted to ask the question, when you have fresh information and a fresh experience from, let's just talk about the busy season in the States for tax season, which is January to April, right out of that window, what are the biggest things that you want to address before the next busy season finds its way to you, which always happens so much more quickly than you think it will? So again, if your busy season is in the fall, if it's kind of in the spring, if it's not in the winter, if you're not in the States, this is all 100% appropriate because digital marketing in the tax and accounting space, whether you're in the US, Australia, Canada, etc., is the principles for marketing are quite similar. And so whenever your next busy season is, I want you to put that kind of lens on today and ask yourself, what should I get done? What should I work on so that the next busy season is more profitable, more smooth, and just better all around? I want you to love your business more than maybe you do now. So some of you probably do have thriving, awesome businesses, but as businesses scale, commonly we hit these bottlenecks of I'm either not getting enough leads, I can't keep the clients I have, I'm wondering how I can raise the ceiling of growth. All of that's really relevant, and that's what we do here. So let me tell you a little bit about myself and about us. Some of you have probably followed us for quite some time. Some of you maybe got an email from another figurehead or group in our accounting tax industry, which is global, right? We've got some global partners, some people we work with that serve people around the world as we do as well. But our company is called TaxProMarketer. So welcome to our session today. We've been in business for about 18 years, and I've been here actually going on, I'm in my 10th year at TaxProMarketer. I was a CPA practice advisor 20 under 40, and I was also for CPA Academy in 2023 a top presenter. A big thing for us is basically being a done-for-you agency for tax and accounting professionals around the world. We want to step in and help our clients scale, build, and grow in the direction that they're trying to go to. And that's not always volume. Sometimes it's volume, but sometimes it's just a more niched down, specialized lead. Sometimes it's, man, my website just needs a lot of help, and I'm a business owner with employees and customers, and I just don't have time to do any of this. And so that's our wheelhouse. That's what we do. And I'm going to try and talk through again today 3 specific areas to help you be prepared for your next busy season. But I'm the CEO of this company. I've been the CEO for a few years now. I've played a lot of roles in this company from, talking with clients, from an account management perspective, developing our strategy for Google, working with our different department heads. But for a couple of years now, I've been the CEO of TaxProMarketer. And here's a picture of my family real quick. 4 kiddos, ages 6 down to 7 months right now. So we got a full house. It's a lot of fun. It's chaos. My girls just had their last day of school yesterday, so we're stepping into our first summer where we kind of have like summer break. So it's wild, to say the least. My wife is at home just trying to figure out what our rhythms are going to be. So a full season for me on the personal front, but a lot of fun too, a lot of joy. And as I mentioned, we've got Noah Jenks here today, who's my partner in crime on these presentations. Noah, I'll let you do a little intro for yourself, and then we'll get into the content.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. It's fun to be here with all of you guys. Looking forward to hopefully just providing a lot of value. Maybe some reflection and ways where you can kind of look back over, this last season, say, where were we? And then look ahead to the future and say, where do I want to be? Where is this ship going? 6, 12, 18 months down the road.
Mm.
I wear a lot of different hats at this company, primarily bringing in new clients and helping them grow and scale. So that looks like, having a lot of calls with, I see some familiar names on this. So, hey, it's great to see some familiar names and people we've talked to, some people we're working with now, and, hopefully a lot of you we get to work with down the road.
Yeah.
And we also do it, overseeing our account management department because it's not just about bringing new clients in. It's about, how do we, really work with you through this whole online journey. Oh, I'm having somebody say it's hard to hear me. Can you hear me
I
okay,
can hear
Christian?
you okay, Noah.
Okay. All
Anyone
right.
else having a hard time hearing Noah? Let us know in the
Anybody else
chat.
has a let me know. But a little bit, that's enough kind of about that. I've been with the company for, 3, 4 years, something like that, Christian. And done a lot of different things in a previous life. I was in education, teacher in the classroom for a lot of years, principal of an international school in Tanzania in East Africa. My family and I, we still enjoy doing a lot of traveling. Here's my wife and our beautiful 4 kids. We're a little bit ahead of Christian as far as the age range. My oldest is 12 and my youngest is 3 right now. So equally have a full house, but it's a lot of fun and just a fun stage of life getting to just do a lot of fun stuff with the kids.
Yep. Yep. Glad to be with you, Noah. And if anyone has any technical difficulties, either your audio, video, or hearing us, please do let us know. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We'd be glad to hear that from you if you have any issues. So we'll keep an eye on the chat. Big difference between the volume. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, Noah, you might try your AirPods, but we'll keep
Let's talk about
rolling.
it.
We'll keep rolling. Okay, so we're going to try and launch a poll question here. I'm going to go to my polls and do question number 1. Let's see here. And where is it? I believe we've got all 3 together. So I'm going to launch this, and we may not be able to do all 3 at different times, but poll question number 1 is going to relate to area number 1 we're going to discuss. So you should see this before you right now. In terms of growth and new client acquisition, that's question number 1. I'd just like to hear from you how this last busy season went. And if you're in the States, that would be the tax season right behind us. But if you're international, just think back to your last busy season. How was it in terms of when most people are looking for you? How was it in relation to your ability to acquire new clients and bring them on? So that should be the poll question you see before you. It is question number 1 of 3. And there's 2 other questions on here as well. The second question is, which of these problems before your next busy season do you think you need to address most? So your second question that's before you is going to relate to the biggest pain point in your business. And then the third question is, do you have a plan to take a step forward? And again, my apologies. I wanted these to be in 3 separate questions, but Zoom sometimes merges them. I'm going to come back to these poll questions again, and there's no CPE today. So this is just self-reflective for you to kind of have before you related to how things are going. So my hope is that by the end of this webinar, you would be able to say, yes, this webinar did help me move the ball forward. So again, this is just self-reflective. We do a lot of CPE webinars, but today is not for CPE. So question 1, 2, and 3. I am going to take this down here in 5 to 10 seconds. So if you'd like to do a little bit of self-reflection, especially on question number 1, which is what we're going to talk about first, in terms of growth and new client acquisition, how was your last busy season? Were you able to bring people on? Was it a little disappointing? Did you have more growth than you expected? That would be wonderful. And then we'll go through these poll questions, and these will be orienting to us. And so I'm going to close this here in 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm closing the poll question now. If I'm able to reopen it, I will do so. But let's get into it. So talking about your last tax season, your last busy season, we want to do a little bit of reflection. And I also momentarily, I'm going to be able to drop in the chat a worksheet. And this worksheet is going to relate in part to what we're talking about today. And also it's going to talk about some other areas of marketing strategy. But we wanted to give you guys a deliverable, something you could walk away from this webinar with and either pull up on a chat with us, one-to-one, or work through with your own team, with yourself. But we will have a deliverable that we're going to put forward that we think is going to be worth digging into. So you can download the PDF here momentarily. But what goals, if we were to try and ask you, what goals do you have in your practice, in your firm that right now are maybe a little elusive, right now are maybe kind of hard to get your hands around? What are the frustrations that you keep running into? Because what we find commonly is that in the tax and accounting space, if you're building, kind of your own business and you're your own boss and you've got a team and growing customer list, there's just going to be some bottlenecks. There's going to be some things that you're unable to get to because you're so busy working in your business that it's hard to work on your business. So we do webinars all the time talking about some pretty in the weeds tactics. And we will get to some of the tactics today. But a lot of what we want to talk about is a little self-reflective as well as high-level strategy and planning. And we will have some tactics towards the end. And I welcome your questions on specific platforms, whether you want to talk about website. We'll get into that a bit today. Ads, social media. That's all fine and good. But we're going to get into some high-level stuff. So here is the link. Noah, have we got that dropped in the chat for our folks? It should be a Google Drive
Yep.
link.
Yeah, I already got that put in there.
Perfect. You do sound a little louder to me, Noah,
Oh,
now.
good.
So if anyone has any trouble hearing Noah, I think he sounds better to me, but just let us know. Okay, so in the chat is now a link that should just open to a Google Drive link that you can then download. And again, you're going to have step 1, evaluate. Step 2, prioritize. And then step 3 is going to be a bit of a questionnaire on some different fronts to be more tactical. So this has been something we've been giving to our different webinars and attendee groups that we've worked with recently. It seems to be helpful just to have something before you that you can chip away at and we can start to work with you on, because a big part of marketing is planning. A big part of marketing is planning. It's time, it's intentionality, and it's knowing that we're aiming at the right goal. Marketing, if it's just throwing a website together, if it's just cruising with the way you've done things, the way you've always done them, and keeping the status quo without knowing whether it's working or not, I think that's a problem. And so this worksheet is an attempt to give you something that while we're chatting today, and as we meet with you guys in one-to-ones, if you'd like to do so, we can kind of say, hey, let's pull up your worksheet and talk about what could have gone better, who's your ideal client, what are the biggest 3 pain points, and then the tactics therein. So I hope that serves you. If you don't want to use it, that's okay. It's a freebie, something we just wanted to offer, but it's going to also frame some of our time. Okay, here's some things that you can't fix. And I know that this is labeled around the IRS in the States, but whatever your federal tax governing body is, just insert that lingo here. So you can't fix fully clients that procrastinate. You can't fix in the States right now, just timely stuff to talk about, the layoffs that are happening, which it's also happening in other countries around the world. It's not a monolith, right? Not every country right now is going through a big change administration like we are in the States. But man, the IRS layoffs and delays and missing agents that were on your case that are now gone, that is happening. And that's not something you can actually fix. In the States as well, we've had BOI back and forth, beneficial owner stuff. If you're in the States, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's been a huge pain. And we also have AI and how the systems and softwares are just changing pretty rapidly. The ability to serve clients in new and dynamic ways is fun and exciting, but also the velocity of change right now is super high. Here's another thing. You can fix these items. These are things in your control. So again, if you're in the States or wherever you're at, Canada, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, can you take uncertainty with change in the industry and turn it into an opportunity to serve clients? Can you brand and position yourself not just as someone that does taxes, someone that does bookkeeping, someone that does accounting, but as someone that can be the financial port in the storm for your clients and leads? Can you build a marketing ecosystem and grow your business based on relationships? Now, of course, I think that's going to be like implicitly agreed to by everyone here. Most of you here, not all, but most of you here have built your business on referrals, which is awesome and so great. And it's based on the strength of your work and your credibility and your experience. And so your name gets passed around. Can you replicate that? And I'm going to tell you that you can with digital marketing. Can you know who your ideal client is and not try and serve everyone, but focus in on the right clients? Yes. Can you make the most of your existing list of leads? Can you build a sustainable model for acquiring new clients that doesn't require you to go and network all the time, which is great. If you are going to just be at the networking events and shaking hands and going to conferences, get clients however you can. But can we build an online model, an online ecosystem that pulls in leads? Yes, you can. You can do these things. These are things in your control. Can you leverage your expertise or other people's expertise and knowledge to grow your firm? And the answer is yes on both fronts. So time is a big factor. When it comes to marketing, every time Noah and I talk to people, the thing I hear most commonly is, I know I need this, but I don't know if I have time to do it myself. And so that is just to kind of frame our time together as we get into these three areas, and we try and leave you today with hopefully some great value and some clarification of steps you can take going forward. One of the things I want to encourage you with is that in your accounting tax industry, whether you're in the States or around the world, one of the things you should be fighting to get more of in your business is your time. You are incredibly bright and incredibly smart if you're in the tax and accounting space, but everything in your business cannot fall on your shoulders. At one point, when you're starting your business, or if you're looking to start one, that is on your plate. Hiring, serving clients, landing clients, systems, building, leases, utilities, all of it. You're just a business owner. You're an entrepreneur, right? But many of you have been around for a while, and you need to start leaning into, if you haven't already, how do I get things off my plate that I didn't get in business to do? I got in business to serve my clients. I didn't get in business to necessarily be a marketing wizard. And so one of the things we're trying to do with this early bird seminar is say, if you give a group like us, or another marketing agency is fine too, time, I think that it'll pay dividends later on. I think it'll pay dividends for you to get leads that are relationally established with our systems and processes and give you your time back. That's best case scenario for us. Okay, enough preamble, enough overview, umbrella stuff. Let's talk about these three areas. This is the meat of today. Noah, we're going to talk about the first problem. I don't have enough new leads. The second problem, I have trouble converting calls or leads into clients. And the third area is clients that just seem to be going elsewhere. It happens to everyone, right? We all have retention issues over time, right? We do. But these are all areas that we can address and fix and put some time and intentionality into. And so that's what we're going to cover today. That's what we're going to get into. And I'm seeing here, great, we've got the Q&A going. If you have any questions, there is a Q&A panel. You can also just use the chat as we're going. We're on a Zoom setting, so I think it's even hypothetically possible that I could ask some of you to turn your video on, but I'm not going to ask that. You are welcome to raise your hand, and we can see if Noah and I are technologically gifted enough to get into the Zoom settings and let you get the mic for a second. But at a minimum, I want this to serve you. You're not getting CPE today. So if you're here because you really want to be. And I want you to leave today feeling really clear that I've got some steps I can work on. And so on any of these three areas, anything on the worksheet, anything else you have questions on, please fire away while we're here. And our big takeaway is going to be trying to have one-to-one settings, calls with anyone here that wants to have it. And so that'll be through this link, Get the Early Bird, which we'll drop in the chat. Okay. So area number one is you didn't have enough new leads. Or you just don't have enough new leads. There weren't enough incoming inquiries, whether it's emails or phone calls. You don't have enough people presently or in your past season of being really busy, whether that's in the States during January to April or in Canada, the months are just a little bit different, or Australia or South Africa. When was your last busy season where you were maybe expecting a flood and you got a trickle? And how do we fix that? Or maybe, guys, maybe you're getting a flood of bad leads. How many of you have had that? How many of you have had leads before that are coming in that you're like, I guess I'm glad I'm getting leads. And hey, that's actually not a terrible thing to have happen, right? Every lead is a good lead in some shape or form, even if they'll become a paying client, because it means you're visible somewhere, you're showing up. But there is something true too. Are you getting the best leads? And so I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat or the Q&A, whatever you find first. Put a 1 in the chat if you right now have a lead issue. You're not getting enough new leads. I'm just curious to see with those that are with us who right now is resonating with, yes, I don't have enough leads coming in. I'm seeing some 1s come in. If you're doing great on this, put a 0. You're doing awesome. This isn't a problem for you. You're crushing it. So 1 if it's a problem, 0 if it's not. Thank you for those 1s. I see you guys engaging. Yeah, this is super normal. How do I get more leads, right? There's not one way to get 100 leads. There's 100 ways to get 1 lead. And that's a little like, philosophical, but like that's something we'll say from the stage. That's something we'll say on webinars. There's not one specific way to get a lead. Some lead channels are better than others. And I never, ever, ever want to say that you shouldn't keep aiming to get referrals. You should. You should give yourself a good name, have a strong network in your city or metro that you live and serve in. But I commonly find people that are saying, I've hit kind of my ceiling of what my internal network can produce. How do I get found by more people? Noah, let's get into this. Let's talk about websites and Google. But before we get tactical, and maybe as a lead-in, we can talk about website first together. What are you thinking about? What would be good to have on, if I'm listening right now, what's something I haven't said yet regarding getting new leads that you want to add in?
Yeah. So, and I hope my sound coming through a little bit better now, Christian.
You sound good to me.
Okay. Well, we'll go with this. You know, it's kind of the crux of every business. How do we generate more traffic? How do we generate more leads? Thanks, guys, in the chat for letting me know. I appreciate that. How do we get more leads? How do we generate this? And there's kind of 2 primary ways you could potentially grow a business. One of them is systematically, and the other one is kind of through word of mouth and referral. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against referral-based growth. And I'm sure if I talk to every single one of you, you would all tell me in some capacity, yeah, no, I get referrals from my clients. Well, you should. If you have happy clients, your clients are going to refer you. But the problem with referral-based growth is that it's non-quantifiable. You can't systematically say, I'm going to grow X amount of revenue. I'm going to double my revenue in the next 12 months because you are at the mercy of your clients recommending you. And if they don't recommend you, you might not get new clients. And so what we're going to talk about now is saying, well, keep getting referrals. Of course. I mean, never stop doing that. Serve your clients well. They're going to refer you. That's great. But there are other ways to do this also.
Yep.
And we're going to start with your website. I would hope every single person on this call has a website. That would be, if you don't have a website, like we have another conversation that we need to have. But at a minimum, you need to have a website. And before we get into the job of the website, I'm going to tell you this, and forgive me if I'm a little bit blunt with this, but hey, sometimes that's the best medicine just to kind of keep things moving. Your website will really be one of 2 things. It will either be a digital business card that has your information, your contact page, your products, and has a couple things about you and your business and all that, but it's really not ranking at all. It's not doing anything. If anybody searches your terms, accountant, bookkeeper, tax, resolution, whatever it is, if anybody searches the terms associated to your business type, you probably don't exist. And if that's you, that means your website is a business card. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just making a statement. Or your website can serve another purpose. It can serve a purpose to generate traffic. It can serve a purpose to start conversations. It can serve a purpose to get conversions. I'm going to ask for a little bit more crowd participation. Sorry, it's the teacher in me. Remember, I was a teacher. I was a seventh and eighth grade English and history teacher. God, just bless the middle school teachers. I loved it. I had an absolute blast. But let's get a little interactive with this. It makes it more fun for everyone. If you have a website that, let's just say in the last 3 months, has generated you at least 5 leads, put a 1 in the chat. If you have a website that has never generated any leads, put a 0 in the chat. Okay, I want to know. I want to get a little bit of a pulse on what's going on. And most of you, I hope, lots of zeros. That's all right. We know there's an issue. Now, if your website is just like, Noah, my website generates 10 leads a week, throw a fire emoji in the chat. Like we want to celebrate that. If you got a website that's just crushing, then like that's great. I have someone ask, what if you don't know? Well, that's equally a problem. That's a problem we need to discuss, because if you're not sure if your website is generating any leads, odds are it's probably not. You would see those leads, and that kind of leads to something we're going to talk about farther on down the road
Mm-hmm.
about what do you do with when your leads come in. So, Jeanette, we're going to hold on to that question. I promise we will address it. But that's really the main purpose of your website, everyone. Your website should be generating traffic, meaning it needs to rank. Well, it's not going to happen accidentally. There are very strategic reasons why a website will rank, and the vast majority of websites do not do that thing.
Can I
The
jump in here,
coding.
Noah,
Please,
and
Christian.
add
Yeah,
a
jump in.
couple
I'm
of
monologuing.
let me add a couple of things here. I want to see what we've got. I've got an example of a site coming up. Let me just riff on this, and then I want to show you a site that we've built just as an example to like help you see the picture. But not all websites are created equal, and Noah's kind of riffed on that, right? You can have a website, and it doesn't necessarily, just because you have one, get you found. And so you probably understand that. And if you don't have a website, like Noah said, we're so glad you're here. Let's build it right the first time. If you do have a site and you just put a 0 in the chat because it's not consistently producing leads, or maybe it did produce 5 leads in the last 3 months, but we have more room for growth, the 2 jobs your website has is, like Noah said, get found by leads that are looking for your services. They don't know your business name. They're typing in Google or ChatGPT or Bing or wherever they're searching. They're typing in CPA, accounting firm, bookkeeper, tax service. You want your website to be built in such a way that it shows up. It's not a given that will happen. Not all websites are created equal. But then step 2 is a little bit more deep than just getting traffic. Getting traffic is a prerequisite for marketing working, but the next step is to start a conversation. And this, to us, is the bigger thing with marketing. It's not just about data in terms of website traffic and website visitors and how many calls you got. That's all very relevant. But it's more about, is your marketing ecosystem, from the time you get found to the time someone closes, is it built to kind of foster a relationship? Because again, it can, but most of the time it doesn't. So your website has 2 jobs. Let's talk about an example site. Job 1 is get found. How your website can be built in such a way to get found has a lot to do with the back end of your site. So the 2 biggest factors for ranking on Google are, first, how the back end of your website is built. And in 2025, in our current moment in time, it's actually very easy to build a beautiful website. So if you don't have a site and just want to get one to have it, that's not a bad idea. You can go to Wix or Squarespace, or you can go to any website builder. You could probably ask ChatGPT to build you a website right now, and it probably would. And that's fine. But beautiful websites and powerful websites are different. And so I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. The digital marketing tools that are available have made, to the general business owner in the tax and accounting space, in any local business space, they have made these SaaS platforms, these softwares as a service, these website building applications. You can have these great drag and drop website builders with good images and good content and feel like, check, I just saved a ton of money and it only took me a couple of hours and I built a site, or someone built it for me. But that is not the question that I want your website to first, kind of address, is just beauty and aesthetic and design. The first question is this going to show up in front of the people I want it to? And then next is when I have a good lead, the data we have suggests that you have probably 7 seconds to get someone on your site to do something. And so if you don't have a site that is designed to start a conversation, or you could call this your conversion mechanism, I think that's an area to focus on. And so what we do is we put in place a survey. And our surveys change client to client. It just depends on if you do business work, individual work, both, resolution work, advisory work. The questions change, but it's always going to be, tell me more about you, Mr. Lead, Mr. Potential Client, Mrs. Potential Client. I want to know more about your situation. I want to know, tell me your biggest problem. Do you owe, the federal tax agency of your country, do you owe them money? So like the IRS in the States or whomever it may be elsewhere. Do you have an in-house bookkeeper? Your website should clearly tell the lead, you're in the right place, tell me more. Because if they're on your site, they clearly have a problem. They need some help. And most websites, I would suggest, and Noah, you mention this all the time, maybe you should mystery shop your site and just ask yourself the question, or have a friend do it for you, what am I trying to get people to do? And is that like an actionable, clear process of I got found, my site showed up, someone's there, and now we're on a journey. What I see most of the time is a contact form that's like a field, first name, last name, description of my kind of inquiry, and then my, phone number and email. I also see at times people that go right for the discovery call. Click here to schedule with me. And if you're not getting the right leads, then you're missing that pre-qualification. So what I don't want to do is bring you every single person that ever finds your site onto your calendar. I want to bring the right leads. And again, growing your business in a sustainable, scalable way isn't always a volume question. Sometimes it's quality over quantity. But whatever your goals are, having a site that's ranked well and that converts traffic will really turn your website into an asset, as opposed to, like Noah said, a business card. So the first thing that you want to focus on when you have time out of busy season, your website's not the only part of your digital marketing ecosystem, but it is a big part of it. This is the time, if you're in the States, it's May, April is a month ago. I'm sure we're all still recovering from, and some people have great seasons. They're like, dude, I was done by the end of March. I don't file any extensions. I'm good to go. I hear that sometimes, but also we hear, of course, people that are like, I'm still fried and I need to sleep on a beach in Mexico for like 2 months. So wherever you're at, I get it. But this is the window that if you want your website to be showing up higher on Google, if you want to be showing up on ChatGPT or other AI search engines, you need time. Time is a factor. And then aiming at traffic and starting conversations. Here's just a couple of examples of what our clients will see when they get real form fills on this survey. Do you own a business? Yes. Do you owe back taxes? Yes. How much? $100K. This is a real lead. Just as an example, we get hundreds of these every week for our clients. And it just sets you up well to have better conversations and have that lead make kind of a micro commitment. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I'm not getting married to you yet, but we're kind of doing this dating dance in this marketing relationship journey. They found you, and now we're kind of feeling it out. Is this a good fit or not? They want to tell you their problem. That's maybe one eye-opening thing you could take away from today. Leads want to tell you their problem. You have to build your website in such a way to solicit in a tactful, winsome, positive way. Let's start a conversation. Just tell me about you. Your website should be about them, and it should be about starting a conversation. This orientation flows into everything we do in marketing, with social media content, with email, with everything. We want to start the journey of bringing on a new customer with, tell me about you, instead of just telling you about us. That matters too. Your experience and all that matters, but you want to build your website to make the client, the potential client, the lead, you want them to be the focus. Okay, next. If I've got time, if I've got the ability to be intentional with my digital marketing, I'm going to think about my website. But I'm also going to think about a globally relevant profile that probably all of you engage with and interact with every day, but don't know what it is. Some of you don't know what it is. I'm sure some of you do. It's called Google Business Profile. Your Google Business Profile is a free profile from Google that allows people to see reviews to Google, your Google page itself. They can call your business, they can get directions. There's a lot of great analytics and reporting kind of, KPIs on the back end of this profile too. But if you don't have it to begin with, that's step one. So Noah, can you drop in the chat business.google.com? Here's another freebie. So you've got a worksheet from us, right? We can talk about the worksheet. Here's another big freebie. If you don't have a Google Business Profile, Noah just dropped in the link where you can get it for free. It's a little harder in 2025 to get a Google Business Profile than it used to be. And I won't go deeply into the verification process, but just know there is a process to make sure that Google is vetting you. You really exist. If you've got a profile, or if you go through this process to get a profile, you don't have to have a physical address. You can be a service area business, right? So I've had people in Amsterdam, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York. Christian, I work out of my house. Great. We will say that you serve this metro that you're in, this city that you're in, and you can still have a Google Business Profile without showcasing your address. So that's okay. It's okay to be virtual. You can still have this profile and get reviews. But once you get this profile and okay, I want an address that's showing or I don't, every field on the back end of this profile is massively important for filling out. Algorithmically with Google, optimizing the back end of your profile is massively important. And again, if you fixed this area of your existing Google Business Profile right now, it doesn't mean that tomorrow you have a flood of leads. But what it means is that you're sending signals to Google. And the more signals you send to Google, which also is reviews, the more reviews you get, the more signals you're sending to Google, the more phone calls you get, the more direction requests you get if you have an address to get directions to. All of these things, including filling out the back end of your Google Business Profile with your proper service categories, your business categories, and those are two different things. You have business categories and service categories. You have your website, of course, your phone number, your open hours. You also will have the ability to post. You can post content to this Google Business Profile, and that individual post on its own is not going to get you a flood of leads. It's the sum total of being consistent and diligent to do everything that sends green signals to Google's algorithm. Check, 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 check. Over time, if you're not showing up and you're in a major market right now, if you're not showing up on Google on page one, we can make that happen. It's being consistent, it's dialing in the back end, and it's getting reviews. Okay? So getting reviews is another big factor. If all else is equal, it's you against a few competitors in your market, and someone else has more reviews. Not only are they going to show up more consistently, because Google is seeing that they have positive customer experiences, but they're also going to get more customers to pick them. So getting more reviews influences how you rank on Google and how humans choose you. Let's do another little mini poll in the chat. Give us a 1 if you've had 5 reviews or more in the last 6 months. Give us a 0 if you've had, let's say 4 reviews or less, down to 0 in the last 6 months. So in the last 6 months, a 1 if you've had more than 5 reviews, and a 0 if you've had less. Does that make sense? I just want to see. And again, this is something you can control. You can't make someone leave you a review, but if you guys have happy clients, and I know many of you do, this is just a system that we can put in place to prompt them to leave you happy feedback, because happy customers will not be prone to leave a 5-star review. Unhappy people will break down a wall to leave you a 1-star review, right? Unhappy people will go out of their way to leave you a 1-star review, but happy customers, they have to be asked. It's okay to ask, but we've got to have a system and a plan. Okay, let's keep moving. I'm going to scoot along so that we can get to area number 2. And that is, you have a problem with landing new clients. You've got leads coming in, and maybe they're not the right leads, and that would speak to kind of dialing in your client avatar, right? Who's your ideal client that you really want to work with? Or what's your ideal service package? That's a relevant conversation too. But let's just pretend you're getting leads, but you're not closing them. And I would posit to you, as we just talked about the top of the marketing funnel, let's get visible and let's start a conversation. Now let's go to the bottom. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, when Noah and I talk with customers, sales as a repeatable system is just not present. A sales system that gives clarity and helps you know where your leads are at, where your leads came from, and what you need to do next. There's a lot you can say about your marketing, kind of CRM, your customer CRM and your marketing CRM. How do you manage your relationship with your customer? There's a lot of components. Like our CRM we give our clients, it can help you ask for reviews. It can help you record your phone calls. It can send texts and emails individually, right? It can help you just get content out as needed to individual clients or en masse. However, one of the most important parts of our CRM that we give to our clients is just a sales pipeline. And it's not overly complicated, but it's better than your sales system being your inbox or a legal pad, a sticky note, or just having it in your head. If you are just jamming with your existing sales system and it provides clarity and peace of mind, and it's not like a boat that has holes in it, then don't change it. I want you to use something or have a system for sales that is actually producing not only results, but kind of clarity and peace in your business. But if right now you're feeling like it's a little erratic or it's just a little discombobulated, and again, you didn't get into business to refine and be a savant with sales systems, I get it, and that's okay. And that's something we can fix. And so for us, again, it's called Client Stack. It's something that, again, when you have time, like let's just use people in the States as an example. If someone signs up with me in December, wanting to get marketing kind of dialed in for January through April, right? Christian, I want leads and I want the system and I want all of it. It's like, I can build it for you, but it kind of takes some time to learn systems, doesn't it, right? It takes a little time to get clear on how this is going to work so that you can not be thinking about it when you need it. And that's a good way to think about your systems, your kind of software stack. You want to have a system that you can rely on that's doing things for you when you're busy, when you're serving your clients, when you're in the weeds in your documents and emails and client portal, shuffling stuff around. What you don't want is to have a back of brain fearful thought late in the night. Oh my God, I'm getting all these emails from potential leads and I just can't keep track of them. And then the email gets read and this referral that came in, this lead from my Facebook page, my website, whatever it may be. It happens all the time. It happens all the time that people just don't feel like they have a system that works. And above and beyond that, obviously a system that can ask for reviews and do stuff in other areas too. So that's our solution. Client Stack is something that if I'm given time, man, before next season, you can just have peace. You can be jamming. And if you wait to sign up until November or December this year, I'll still give you the system, but you just might not get integrated into it as well. So this is my plea to you that if you want to grow your firm and if you want to work with us, time will make everything much more smooth. And I can even build some fun custom things for you in your sales pipeline that are specific to you if I have time, right? And so here's some sales pipeline questions for you. And then let's go to area 3, Noah. You don't have to answer this in the chat. This is just more like for you guys to think on. And again, we can put these in the worksheet or talk about these together. But when you get a new lead right now, what happens? How do you keep track of where those leads came from? Do you have steps lined out to help them close for you and the lead to kind of know here's the journey we're going on to a proposal that gets signed and then the onboarding that kicks off? Does your team have the ability to get notes from you on what work needs to be done if they sign up? These are systems questions. They start with strategy and some consulting. What do you want to have happen when someone closes? We'll trigger these automations, trigger this workflow, trigger some process. When you have time, you can do these things. You can work on your business, not just in it. But if you're always scrambling, these are just things that can be evasive. And I understand why. I totally get it. So there's no shame, but this is, and just so you know, this early bird special webinar does have a deal. So at the end, for those of you that are curious, we're giving a big discount, not because our services aren't valuable at their retail rate, but because I want to get the opportunity for those that want it to get as much time under our belt before you need it. So we're putting some skin in the game. If you give us more time, we can do better, more peaceful, coordinated, collaborative work so that you enter into your busy season with leads and with clarity. Here's what our sales pipeline looks like. This is a real client. They've got 556 opportunities in this time frame. It's April to October of 2023, just a screenshot we use that's got more opportunities in it now. But these are all of their sales opportunities, how many they've closed, how many that are open, and how many they've lost. And then we assign a value based on the lead value. So if bookkeeping is $500 a month, if tax services are a $2,000 one-off job, we'll assign that value, 500, whatever your price point is. We can assign a value to your different leads and then show you how much your value is of closed leads, open leads, and lost leads. And sometimes it's little dashboards like this. This is just a dashboard, but something that helps you see, oh my God, I need to go work on my open pipeline. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars waiting to be mined of people that have asked for my help that I haven't closed yet. And then, of course, your conversion rate. What are you closing people at? These are all really good things to know, and our system provides it. If you'll work with us, tell us what the value of your clients are. You can have different clients with different values. You can have different pipelines for different leads, right? Bookkeeping clients or leads are over here. Tax leads are over there. We'll help you build it. But that's something, again, that when we have time, I want to put top of the funnel. How do we help you get found with your website and your Google page? Bottom of the marketing funnel, how do we get people to say yes? That's the sales system. Okay, last area we're going to talk about with our remaining 15 minutes is what happens when the problem you're dealing with, and I want to see a 1 in the chat if this is you, and I know this happens to everyone at scale, but just let's say, do you think this is a top 3 problem for you right now? That your clients are leaving kind of in maybe statistically an inexplicable level. That's too many big words. Let me say it simply, more simply. Do you have more clients leaving you than you should? Are more people deciding to go elsewhere and it doesn't make sense? It doesn't feel right. Put a 1 in the chat if one of your top 3 problems is attrition. I'm having a lower retention rate of my existing clients than I want. If this is great for you, put a 0. If you've got trust and you only lose maybe a couple of clients a year and it's just rocking, put a 0. But if right now you're losing more clients than you want, put a 1 in the chat. I'm just curious to see who we've got in the room and what's going on. This is, again, something that I think you can solve for. Noah, as we talk about emailing, and then we got to have a little bit of time too to hit the slides at the end, tell me a little bit about perceived indifference. Tell me a little bit about keeping clients and things we can do.
So we just live, Christian, in a society that wants us or wants the business to care about them. And that's the reality. We want to be communicated. We want to know what's going on. We want to be in the loop with different things that are happening. And a lot of times there is this concept of perceived indifference where you care about your client, you care about your client, but your client doesn't hear from you for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. If they're a tax only client, they only hear from you once a year. And so what's to stop them from just going to someone else next tax season? And I'm sure this has happened to most of you, if not all of you, in some capacity where you're like, man, I thought we got along really well. I thought this was
Right.
all really working. Where did they go? Or maybe it's an accounting client where month to month, and then just 1 month they up and vanish and go somewhere else. A lot of times I'd actually venture, most of the time, it's not because you did anything wrong. It's just because you didn't stay in front of them. You didn't communicate with them. You didn't build that depth of trust and that relationship with them. And that leads to this concept of perceived indifference.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. And there is just that psychological part of keeping clients where if someone comes in and gives them that special feeling, hey, You don't know me, but I'm a CPA in your area. And I have found your website, your business. You look amazing. I love what you're doing. Can I get the chance to tell you how I could come alongside you and help? Those cold emails, those cold LinkedIn messages, those phone calls, those networking events, or that referral that another friend passes around. Hey, Christian Jones, I've got this accountant I really trust. I know you've got someone, but man, this guy's amazing. And he really serves me well and stays in front of me. That just happens all the time, that you get sniped. Your clients get sniped, not because you're not doing your job and doing the deliverables, but it is that positioning of I'm the financial go-to, tax, accounting, and kind of everything. Again, you don't have to be a wealth manager. You don't have to help them with insurance. You don't have to help them with estate planning. You don't have to offer all those as services, but as a tax and accounting advisor or consultant or professional, a CPA, a bookkeeper, people are not just paying you to get the job done. And that's usually an eye-opening thing for a lot of tax and accounting professionals. They actually want nothing to do with taxes and want everything to be on you. Just tell me what to do. Just get it done for me. And you can play into that by building trust beyond just the scope of work that you're doing. And that to us as a solution is email marketing. So if you have a newsletter that you send out right now, that's probably better than nothing. If you send out like a tax organizer, to documents collected before your busy season, that's probably obviously better than nothing. But what we're talking about is relationally oriented content that's regularly sent out, which I always get pushback on. Christian, my clients don't want to hear from me. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Your clients and prospective clients want to be able to trust you beyond just being a tax and accounting professional. Not every business you talk to has a part-time CFO, a bookkeeper, a tax planner, a wealth manager, an estate planner. There are people like that, right? Where they're not going to look to you to be more than what you need to be. Even in those settings, I would say, play the game. Talk about lots of other topics. So we write content once a week for our clients. We have different tracks of content depending on what our clients' services are. So not all of our emails are the same, but this is something we've done for, I think, almost the entirety in our time as a business, and both in our data and our experience with our clients, as well as marketing in general. Best practices is sending regular, relationally oriented email. And that hasn't really changed in well over a decade. Sending regular, relationally oriented content where you're talking about different topics, you're engaging on different fronts, and you're staying in front of them is something that, again, given time, we can get in place, start nurturing your list. This is the in-between part. So we hit the top of the funnel, let's get found. We hit the bottom of the relationship funnel. How do we get someone to close? What happens in the middle? Building trust and rapport with existing clients and leads. Because the fortune with leads is in the follow-up. Not every good lead closes the first time. And if you have no good way to stay in front of them regularly, that's a problem. Sales is about follow-up. Not everyone comes to you on a silver platter ready to sign up. You've got to work it. But it also doesn't have to be all on you. That's something we do. So email marketing works when it's relational, when it's real value, not just being pitchy and annoying, with timely information that's consistently sent. Here's the roadmap for email. Now, if you want to do this yourself, you can. But this is something we do for our clients. And again, there's always this like, Christian, I don't think my clients are going to like it. And guess what? Some will not. Email marketing as a discipline does not aim at 100% engagement. 20% open rates, and then obviously a fraction of them as clicking and engaging. That's what you're going for. But even those that don't click through to the link or engage with the article or do whatever, if you just are popping up with good information, that is what people curate in their email inbox. They curate good, professional sources in their inbox. They want to hear from you, and especially if they're paying you money. So I think email marketing is important for leads, but I think it's even as important or more important, you could say, for existing customers. Because the best customer to get is the one you already have. It's cheaper to keep an existing customer than it is to get a new one. And if it's just a matter of sending emails to them that are like, hey, Here's what's happening in new tax updates. Here's the upcoming deadlines. Here's some topics. Here's a case study. Here's some ideas that I'm thinking about. Here's some other topics that I can speak to. We write that content for our clients. They get to edit it before it gets sent. You don't have to send every email if you don't want to, but it gives you the opportunity to, again, put something in place that just isn't something you need to do. You don't need to write emails every week to your clients, but you should do it. And that's where you get someone like us to step in and help. Here's an example of an email we wrote. I'm just going to leave this here that if you want to download the slides, come back to this. We'll send this out as a follow-up to the email. We'll get you a link to the slide deck. Come back and look at this. Your email health also matters. Again, let's come back to this. I have a great testimonial here from a client named Roland, who more or less, I'll summarize this for you, said exactly what I hear all the time. I thought emails were stupid and wouldn't work. And basically, I got a lot of responses from clients that said, thanks for doing this. I love this. These are great. I think Roland's experience is a great case study of what we normally see. Not everyone's skeptical about sending emails, but a lot of people are. Lean into it. Trust us. Trust the data. Trust other marketing gurus. We're not the only ones saying it. And let this just solve your problem. Okay, we already did poll question 3. So I'm going to move to the end here, and I want to use your guys' time well. We're almost to the top of the hour. We are going to hang on beyond the top of the hour. So if you want to hang around and chat with us, engage with us, you're welcome to. Would love to stick around with anyone that's here. Okay. Most marketing is positioned like fast food, quick and cheap. Effective marketing takes time and intentionality and yields better results. Think about like a gourmet meal. You'll sit there waiting for it for longer than you would a burger at Wendy's or McDonald's or In-N-Out or whatever your burger joint of preference is. And hey, just to be clear, I like fast food burgers. But when you're trying to be healthy or have a really great special experience, obviously going to a better restaurant, it's going to take more time, be a little more expensive, but it's better results. It's better food, right? Most of the time. And so that's what marketing is. Marketing has the same idea as food. You get what you pay for. And saving on marketing, to me, is not the first and best way to think about it, because I care about effectiveness. If you're spending $10,000 on marketing over a year and it doesn't yield any results, it doesn't matter. If you're spending $100 on marketing a year and it's yielding results, that's what matters. Marketing is supposed to produce an ROI. So for those of you that are sitting here saying, Christian, I don't know what my marketing ROI is, that's a good place to start. But for those of you that know it's maybe not effective and it's not working, let me encourage you that investing in marketing, this is the time to act. If you're in the States, again, I know we've got people around the world who are watching this or will watch this in the future. Your busy season is different than ours. But the time when you have the most time horizon before your next busy season is the best time to start. And so we put together a special, our early bird special, that gives you everything we talked about and a bunch of stuff we didn't. We didn't talk about social media. We didn't have a ton of time to talk about advertising. We talked about how to rank on Google kind of for free. But we have put together a special for those that want it. You can go to gettheearlybird.com. Noah, if you can drop that in the chat again if we haven't already. This offer gets you for your first 3 months, 50% off. And in months 4 to 12, 30% off. And we're waiving all of our setup fees. So normally we have a setup fee, and then we have our monthly kind of fee engagement, right? We're waiving the setup fee, and we're offering you for your first 3 months 50% off, and then months 4 to 12, 30% off. And that expires June 15th. And I mean it. So this is a limited time offer. We actually haven't done this before. And I know that might sound salesy, but that's just honest. We haven't done a post-US tax season kind of like special, because I'm trying to solve the problem of getting people in earlier. You'll have a better experience. We can do more work on these fronts. We can integrate you more into our systems and let them become more useful than if you signed up in November or December. So come back to me in November or December if that's what happens. Like, we'll still help you. But I wanted to put a juicy thing together and try and give you a reason to give us more time, because the more time we have, the better this will work. And that would go for any marketing group you work with. But I'm the one here now giving you a deal. And so that's the offer. Go to gettheearlybird.com. I believe you'll be able to schedule a call with us. And what would happen from there is that we would get to advise and consult and build a system that I think would work for you for not only the months to come, but years to come. All of this takes time. The more time you give to marketing, the better. It's a worthy investment. It's a worthy investment that many of our clients would tell you has changed their business. You can go check out some of our Google reviews. You can get on, and we've got case studies of clients talking about their experience with us. We want to put all these things in place. And it starts with getting a call scheduled, getting a custom plan tailored to your practice, having us implement that plan, and then see leads come through and enjoy a smoother and more profitable busy season whenever that is for you. So go to gettheearlybird.com and fill out this form. Tell us your basic information. That's all we need. Again, we want to start a relationship with you, and we just want you to take a micro step. Just tell us a little bit about what's going on, get a call with us, and then we'll go from there. And if it's not a good fit, we'll tell you. That's okay. We don't work with everyone. But I at least want the opportunity to meet you, to get the chance to serve you and tell you, I think, hey, here's the things we would do for you. And here's what we think that would look like. And if you give us time, again, you get a big deal. So that's our ask. That's what you came here today for. A little bit of reflection, a little bit of analysis. What's working, what's not working? What are your biggest problems? And then hopefully an invitation to a conversation with myself or with Noah, one of our other team members. We'll be on the phone with you for 30 minutes to an hour, just learning about your business. So again, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you for being here with us. If you, for some reason, don't feel comfortable going to gettheearlybird.com, again, it's a free call. You can always email me directly or Noah directly, Christian@TaxProMarketer.com, Noah@TaxProMarketer.com. We are here to serve this industry in space, whether you're in the States, Europe, Australia, Canada, wherever you are. We're here to serve you. So don't shy away at all from coming in and telling us what's going well, what's not going well, and let's keep the ball going, whether it's from the worksheet from today. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, hello, thumbs up. Let's talk about anything from today that feels like pertinent.